Folks are back. This is Steve Sanson, Jim Jonas with another episode of Veterans in Politics, a live stream Saturday morning. Oh, Saturday afternoon. It's after 12, right? Today we have a special family court segment. We have Cassandra Gutierrez. You know, I haven't said that last name in a long time, so it's not on my tongue. And then we have Jules McArthur. Easier to say, McArthur. Right. Then Gutierrez. You know, Gutierrez sounds like you got to have like a little tongue twister going in there a little bit.
Yeah, that's one thing I've never
It's probably a Spanish thing. Is it Spanish thing, you think? Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. It's like when people try to get me to roll my R's. That's not happening. Yeah, it's just
like that.
There's just way too much redneck in this blood for rolling R's.
Oh, you need to get a little spice in your life, brother.
Yeah, I do.
So anyways, Miss Gutierrez and Miss McArthur is going to talk about the corruption with family court judge Cheryl Moss, although Cheryl Moss is leaving.
Thank goodness.
But we want to make sure that she leaves nicely and let people know that what these judges are doing on the family court bench. So when these future judges come on, like the elections we have now, they'll know that, hey, you know, we better watch what we're doing or else we're going to be exposed as well. So, Cassandra,
yes.
Tell us about you.
Okay.
Give us a little bio about yourself.
Okay. I'm a hairstylist at Supercuts.
What do you think you could do with this hair?
You're a hairstylist at Supercuts. We're gonna have to talk that show.
Okay.
You need to help. You need to help this out.
Okay.
Jim needs his personal barber. Do you make house calls?
No.
Do you want to make house calls? That'd be a new business, especially like COVID is going on.
That would be a new.
Yeah, you should venture out. Yeah. Pick up an extra bucks.
I need extra bucks.
Yeah. Please continue.
Okay. So I have 3 children that live at home. Jules is 20. And then I have Bella, who's 10. She's going to be 11 in December.
Cool.
And then Lincoln just turned 9.
Okay. How long you been in Vegas?
23 years.
Oh, that's a minute.
Yeah.
So this is your first husband?
No. So Jules is from my first marriage.
Oh, okay.
And the 2 younger kids are from my second marriage.
Okay. And that's the one you're having problems with?
Yes.
You're not having problems with Jules' father, are you?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's good.
He and I get along fine.
Okay.
I've been in a custody battle for over 5 years.
That's a minute.
Yes. And it's progressively gotten worse.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why is because my rights have been violated so badly in the court system.
Okay, let me stop you right there.
Okay.
And I want to get Jules' bio.
So hi, I'm Jules. I am 20 years old. This is my mother. And I have witnessed the corruption over the last 5 years. In the middle of my junior year of high school, we were forced to move to Henderson because that was Judge Moss's orders. And like I said, I was a junior in high school.
She can't force you to move anywhere.
Well, what she said was she was going to have to give custody to one parent over another.
So basically, my mom would lose custody if she did not move to Henderson. And we lived up in Centennial Hills at the time. I was established at my school.
It's my area.
I love Centennial. That's my favorite area
You should
of town.
come back.
I want to come
There's
back.
a big petition out there. Bring Jules back.
Yes, I would love to move back.
Yes.
But I had to move from Somerset Academy up in Centennial Hills to Foothill High School in the middle of my junior year, which is not a good time to move because of that judge. And it was kind of traumatic.
So your whole life was uprooted because of this judge's decision?
Definitely, yes.
Okay. All right, we're going to go back to you now, Cassandra, please. Continue where we left off.
Okay, so recently my ex-husband, who is a public defender here, and
With Clark County.
with Clark County.
Is that Seth Gutierrez?
That is Seth Gutierrez. He wants my son, who's 9 years old, on ADHD meds. He switched pediatricians about a year and a half ago without my consultation or anything.
Okay.
And this pediatrician he can control. And so, we went in for an appointment for her to say whether Lincoln needed the meds or not. And so I presented her with his report card. And his report card is outstanding. My son has autism and ADHD. And he's an AB student.
So you're losing your custody battle in family court.
Yes.
You think Judge Moss is biased because your ex is a current public defender?
Yes. He gets special privileges.
I remember I turned him in for using his county computer on county time, and I think they sent him a letter of reprimand. They didn't really do much. That was with the county manager. But there's also a problem. He's showing up into the courtroom on public time as well, right? What time of day is your court hearing?
It's at all times.
All times. But it's between 8 and 5, right?
Oh, yes, it's between 8 and 5.
So while he should be working for the public, he's busy doing his private courtroom grandstanding in family court.
That's correct. And he acts like the courtroom is his playground, meaning whenever I disagree with him on something, I'm gonna
Write a motion.
put in a motion, and he gets granted every single time.
So so doesn't Judge Moss deem him as vexatious? I mean, she deems regular pro se litigants as vexatious.
No,
How come she doesn't deem him as vexatious?
He has never been deemed vexatious. He is allowed to talk where I am constantly interrupted, and what I have to say is not relevant to anything. She puts me down.
She belittles you from the bench?
She belittles me from the bench.
She has a judicial canon she needs to follow. She's supposed to treat everybody with respect and dignity.
Exactly. Well, I'm not treated fairly. I do right now have counsel, and so does he, because my counsel called him out on the fact that he was representing himself and he was also testifying in his own.
So you have counsel?
And now I do have counsel.
Who's that?
Valerie Fuji.
Okay.
We just had a hearing on Thursday.
Does Ms. Fuji know you coming on this program?
No, she doesn't.
Oh.
She doesn't.
Because you know what she would say, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I need my voice heard,
Right.
because right now, as it stands, the judge has me under watch for 375 days
For what?
of jail time for frivolous, contempt charges, such as I didn't give him a PTA slip.
You're talking about you didn't give your ex a PTA slip?
I didn't tell him about a birthday party or two.
Oh my God, the world is ended.
I want my own parent-teacher conferences.
So why is your ex such a bitch? That's what it sounds like.
He is.
Was that an extreme word that I used?
No.
Okay.
No. I believe a lot of it has to do with his wife does not have kids. She's barren and cannot have kids. So she wants my kids, and she has taken over my role because this man, he takes away my rights to anything. So, and he bullies his way through. He sends me 20 emails a day.
Yeah, I saw when he bullied you that one time.
He does all these different things. He'll follow us.
He doesn't have a life?
No, he doesn't.
I wonder what his workload is with the public defender's office.
I have no idea. I really couldn't.
And his win-lose ratio as well. He probably settles all his cases so he can make time to go and mess with you in family court.
Well, it's pretty interesting because most public defenders, actually, their caseload is actually extremely high.
Is it?
Yeah, it's actually extremely high.
Supposed to be.
So it's pretty. So yeah, I mean, I would say obviously it's dereliction of duty at very minimum.
And public defenders like to settle cases quickly, so he probably settled a whole lot of cases just to make time to go to family court and screw around with you.
Yeah.
So, Jules, let's hear you. Let's hear your side of the story as far as well, you're not a child,
No.
but as far as you are looking in and watch all this unravel with your mom going through this, with your two siblings.
Mm-hmm.
How does that mess with you besides leaving high school and going over to Henderson?
I mean, he has brought me into this many times too, when I have no business being involved in this. Like, yes,
How do you mean he brings you into it? What does that mean?
So, for example, my boyfriend and I got a tiny little kitten a few months back, and my brother, Lincoln, has a slight allergy to both dogs and cats. Not just one, it's both of them. Seth himself has a dog. And we have a dog, but he won't come after our dog because then he knows he'll have to get rid of his dog.
He comes after your little kitty cat.
He comes after my tiny little kitten, and
Maybe you should send one to him.
I should. And so he went as far as to get a court date to try and get full custody because I brought a kitten into the house. And then when I took my kitten to my best friend's house for a little bit, because I was like, all right, my boyfriend took a summer job in Texas. He wouldn't be back for a few months. So I'm like, hey, can you watch my kitten for a few months?
Right.
Because this person will not let me have my kitten in my own home. And
So he wants to control what you do at home.
yeah, and I made a little.
Started stalking her.
Yeah, I made a little Instagram page for my kitten because I don't know, I think it's fun. But, so he made a fake account, he or his wife, I don't know who, made a fake account and followed the kitten. And once I found out that he was stalking the kitten's Instagram, I immediately purged some of the followers and I made her account private so that I could just post so my family and friends could see it. And there was still an account that I must have not banned because he was still going after saying, oh, well, she posted, so the cat is still in the house, which, no, that was not correct. I went over to my best friend's to see my kitten
how we know.
and took pictures with the kitten, and he's like, oh, well, the kitten's still in the house because she's still posting it. Like, he
How
doesn't
old
want
is
me
this
to
guy?
have a kitten. I don't know. He's probably like in his 40s or something. He's got no life, like to be stalking his ex-wife like he does. And I don't know. I won't go into the way he was while they were married and stuff. He was extremely abusive.
So just to get back to, so where does Judge Moss, like, where are you at right now with your court case with Judge Moss?
Okay, so right now, basically, my credibility as a mother is on the stand because I followed the doctor's orders. I gave Lincoln the medication he wanted me to. I saw adverse side effects. I documented everything. Isn't
Right.
that what a mother should do?
Yeah.
So each day I documented what happened. I had Jules there for a witness. She witnessed the whole thing. Bella witnessed it too.
Your daughter.
Yes. Bella witnessed the whole thing. And, Lincoln went through a whole slew of side effects. And as the days went on, they lessened. They differed first and then they lessened. And now he's more acclimated, but he still complains on the medicine. So what happened was I called the doctor's office to let them know about it. Well, I asked for the doctors couldn't give me a call back. The doctor saw this and already immediately decided that I was lying.
Why? Why did the doctor decide that?
Well, the doctor called Seth instead of my mom because she called, it went to voicemail, and they're like, oh, well, let's call the dad instead of the person who made the call. And then Seth ended up making an appointment
The next
without her there, which
Without
he's
me
not
there.
supposed to do.
And he recorded the whole thing.
So
So
going
who
against
has-
the court orders.
So
Oh, he always goes against court.
How does okay? So like when we start talking about doctors and things of that nature, just so that like the viewers and listeners understand. So like right now,
Yes.
where the court case stands, like who has like what is the custody agreement between you and your
The custody is joint physical custody.
Okay.
Okay. So he cannot unilaterally make any health decisions without me. Yet when he took them that day, which was a Tuesday, the 1st of September, he administered shots to Lincoln without my consent or knowledge. I had no idea.
That's what I was trying to get to.
They upped the dosage of the medication without my consent or knowledge. I didn't know anything about that. Because now Lincoln has a 10 milligram instead of 5 milligrams.
So you don't file an order to show cause for contempt and request jail time and sanctions?
That's what I want. I think
have you done that?
He withheld Lincoln from me for 17 days. Only 8 of those days were my time, but I haven't seen Lincoln in 17 days. I picked him up on Thursday, only because we had court. His attorney told him to withhold Lincoln from me. His attorney said that I'm playing games, that I'm not credible.
So his attorney, who's his attorney?
Michael Burton.
So his attorney told him to violate the court order.
Yes.
So how come you don't file,
But do you have proof that his attorney said?
Oh yeah, it's all in writing.
so how come you don't file,
There's a lot of motions back and
a motion with the court and ask for sanctions against the attorney and ask for jail time against the attorney for advising his client to violate the court order?
Right.
And how come you don't file a state bar complaint against the attorney and for Seth, because they're both governed by the state bar, they both pay their dues in the state bar. And you could also file an ethics complaint against Seth, because he's a public defender. He works for the county as a public defender, and file an ethics complaint against him. So you have different areas to go file these complaints. Have you done any of those?
I have not done any of those, but whenever I do put in a motion, my motion gets overlooked or dropped.
You know what they say about the definition of, definition of insanity is, right?
Right, doing the same thing and.
Expect a different result?
Yeah.
So you gotta come out the box, and you gotta go to the state bar. And while you're at the state bar, then you go to the Nevada Commission
I have.
on
I've written to
ethics.
them twice.
You've done that. But have you done the state bar?
I don't believe that.
Oh, you need to do the state bar. You need to do the state bar against Seth's attorney for advising him to go against a court order. Okay, which he could be sanctioned for that. And then you need to do one against Seth as well for violating canons.
Right.
So that's what I would do if I was you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I can do this without my attorney, right?
You don't need your attorney to do that.
Yeah.
You file it yourself.
Yeah, because my attorney basically said in the last hearing that I can't afford her. So, I don't believe that she's gonna go much further in this case. So I'm gonna be on my own again.
Wow. Right. How much money did you drop with this one attorney?
I gave her $5,000. She's going after Seth for 10. But Judge Moss did not give it to her, even though she insisted that this was premature on his part. He went to go see the doctor without knowing any facts. The child was in my custody those 4 days those side effects happened.
Right.
Why is he there the next day to talk crap about me? That's the only reason.
Yeah. And this might not seem relevant to a lot of people, but to me it's very relevant. So when you start talking about like ADHD medication, I actually have a good friend of mine that dealt with this with their child. I don't know what type of medication was prescribed, but typically it doesn't matter what specific medication it was. But just so viewers and listeners understand that when they prescribe medication to somebody with ADHD, it's a Schedule II narcotic.
Yeah. All the stimulants are.
So
I was on ADHD medication.
Yeah. So it's not, this is not something that should be taken lightly.
No, it isn't.
Like, and thankfully, the individual that I know, who recently deceased, but her and her husband they went back and forth on this for a long time. So I'm just pointing that out because that's not something that one parent should be able to make a decision on.
Exactly.
That I don't care how bad the breakup is, divorce, vice versa. This is a very serious medication that this child is being put on.
Yes, that is very true. It is very serious. And I had Jules on Adderall. And
Adderall, yeah.
she had a very bad side effects. And when I went in, because he was...
What was the side effect?
Well, mine, I lost a lot of weight. I was severely underweight. I ended up going into the hospital because I had dizziness, nausea.
She fainted.
I fainted.
Oh, wow.
And upon checking out, the doctors tried to tell my father, oh, she has anorexia. No, I didn't. I didn't have anorexia. I physically did not feel hunger on this medication. And I was just so focused into school. I didn't want to do anything else other than school. I didn't want to have a life at 16 years old. I would get horrible migraines, and it was just not a good time.
She wasn't
It wasn't
herself
fun.
at all.
I was
Right.
angry at everything all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So just so everybody understands, so here's how Adderall works. And I'm not trying to take away from your time, but I think it's relevant. So here's how Adderall works. For kids that have ADHD, right? Adderall is basically speed in a prescription form. And the hope is that by giving a child that has attention deficit disorder, which means they're basically hyperactive anyway, and they can't focus on one thing at a time. So in order to try to calm the child down and get them to be able to focus more, they basically give them speed. And the counter effect to that is supposed to be to calm them down, right? Well, it works for some and some it doesn't work for. And the side effects you just pointed out, or I mean, it can actually increase that. The only reason why I know a little bit about, I don't have ADHD, but they tried to give me Adderall because I have bad anxiety.
That is not a good medication for anxiety.
Yeah,
I'll tell
and
you
they
right
tried
now.
to give that to me, and I did
Makes
some
it worse.
research called Cindy Lake, and she told me don't take it. So anyway,
Cindy Lakes knows everything.
yeah. Well, I just wanted people to understand exactly what Adderall is and why they try to push it. So.
And another word that I brought up was vexatious litigant. So the viewers and listeners that don't know what that means that a litigant is constantly filing frivolous motions over and over and over. Lawyers do it all the time. They do that to financially cripple you. And they do that to make the legal system so inconvenient for you and so what's that word I was looking for? Gruesome or gracious? I forget that word I was looking for.
I mean, it basically just gives you, it just makes you want to give up.
Yeah, it makes you want
it makes you want to give up your case. So that's why lawyers do it. Usually litigants do it because they're just trying to get justice. Okay, I want to know out there, any lawyers out there, why does a pro se litigant, means a litigant that's representing oneself, why does a pro se litigant get hit with this vexatious title and stifles their constitutional right to be heard and to provide evidence, but when a lawyer does it, it's okay. When a lawyer does it, the lawyer's fighting for his or her litigant. But when the litigant does it, they're actually fighting for their child. So the lawyer does it because he's getting paid, and the litigant does it because out of love. So which one is better? The almighty dollar or the love of the heart? I don't know. But I just wanted to explain what vexatious means. Please continue.
So right now, what I have to do every morning when I have Lincoln is take a video of Lincoln actually taking the medicine.
You know what?
And send it through our family wizard.
You know what? I don't understand.
So I have to prove myself.
Why? Do you have a criminal record?
No.
So my quick question though is if you have to do that, when Lincoln is in his custody, does he have to do that?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
So it's a one-sided thing.
It's very one-sided.
It's okay for Seth Gutierrez to do what the hell he wants, but not his ex. But So you have no criminal record.
No.
Have you been in psychiatric, seeing counselor for mental illness?
No.
Do you have?
I went to a therapist for years because of
the PTSD that he caused.
Because the courts caused this.
Right. It has nothing to do with anything.
Have you been diagnosed with alcoholism or drug problems?
I don't drink, smoke, do drugs. I'm probably the most
So
boring person.
why are you going through all this bullshit?
Exactly. I can't mother my own children.
All you want to do is be a part of your kid's life, and you got this stupid ass judges in family court that gets in the way.
Yes.
And like,
That's it.
And you got this immature dude that's supposed to be a public defender. Dude, you need to get another job. Maybe he works for Toys R Us or something. Oh, they're out of business. Maybe that's where you need to be.
Just don't send it my way. That's all.
But why does a parent that has no criminal record, has no drug, alcohol, or mental illness problem, why is the courts putting you through all this bullshit? Because the guy's a public defender?
Because there's corruption, and Seth continues to try to control me and my household. Let me tell you a story. We got married in the Las Vegas temple, so we're still sealed.
So you're Mormon?
We're still sealed. We're still sealed. And I believe that he thinks that he can still tell me what to do, because we're still sealed.
Okay.
So do
You see
you
what I'm saying?
so do you believe?
I know.
All right, let me ask you a question since we brought that up. Do you believe the Mormon religion, and I got a lot of friends that are Mormon, so I'm not hating, but I just want to know, do you believe the Mormon religion, the male push down the female and make them subservient to them? Is that how it works?
they're not supposed to. They're really not supposed to. Men have the priesthood,
And
but
supposed to act accordingly.
they're supposed to be righteous, is how they say it. They're supposed to be righteous as they hold the priesthood, not belittle, not put down women, because women.
Are you Mormon?
I am Mormon. According to the church, women are actually a gift from God because we can bear children.
I've been saying that since day one. They were gift from God.
So, but they're supposed to treat us with respect. None of this, controlling machismo, whatever you want to call it, crap that Seth is trying to pull. I used to have
The thing, sorry to cut you off, but the thing with your past stepdad,
yeah.
I don't think he grew up.
I
Some
think
people
you're
get
correct.
stunted when they something probably happened in his life at whatever age, 20s or in his teens maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened to his. I'm around a lot of therapists, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me, but I'm around them. But not that I'm going to a therapist. But something happened to him. I wanted to explain that. But
Okay.
something happened in his life that whatever age, that's where he stopped growing.
Right.
So if some dramatic thing happened at 20, let's say, then his body kept growing, but his mind just stopped. So mentally he stopped growing. Physically he kept growing, but mentally he stopped. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
I think that's what happened to him, because there's no way. I mean, come on, look at her.
Well,
She's not a threat. Why would you want to keep her away? I mean, are you good to your kids?
Yes.
Very good.
Well, why do you want to keep
I can attest to that. I am her kid.
you see, the thing is, why would any human being or any parent wants to keep away somebody that loves, nurtures, and adores their children? Don't you want more people like that in your world? Why are you pushing somebody away that's like that? It just doesn't make
He's not
good
normal.
sense to me. There's so many things why would anybody wants to put all their money into court litigation for some BS when they could put that in a child's education
But
program?
let me tell you something, Steve. He doesn't pay what I pay.
What does that mean?
Attorneys cut him a break because he's an attorney.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of work himself.
And he
So
represented
doesn't-
himself, yeah.
Right. He doesn't have to pay what I pay. I've paid over $30,000, I believe, in legal fees as of now.
So you're saying he's using his attorney skills to get even with you?
Yeah, we are not the same, even though Moss said we're the same in the courtroom. No, we're not.
Then she needs to act like it.
He's a trained professional. I am not.
Yeah.
I did not go to law school.
Yeah.
I am not a shyster. You know what I mean?
But you know something. You know something. Here's my thing. I've been married enough times, and I just leave the crap alone. I just move on, live my life.
Exactly.
Because once you leave that chapter, you just want to move on and go to a different chapter.
Exactly.
You know, you don't want to keep going back to that same old crap over and over and over again. It doesn't make good sense. Especially if you got a mother that loves and adores your kids. I mean, leave it alone, you know?
Exactly.
That's just how I look at it. You got anything else you want to say that you haven't said?
One thing that I believe that should happen is court reform. And I think that people like me who work, a job, that pays minimum plus tips should not have to pay all these fees just to have their children.
Yeah.
Why are they taking them away from me? I'm a good mother. Why are they ripping them from my arms? And he's able to, what's that called, Jules? When he badmouths me, what's that called?
Parental alienation.
Yeah, he's able to do that with my children. He did it so bad in the summertime that my son would stay in front of remember I told you he has autism, would be in my face. I want to go to dad's. I want to go to dad's. He did that for 8 hours.
I couldn't go to work one time because we had to block the slider door and the front door because he was trying to get out. And
What was he?
He was 8 at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is what I'm dealing with, and I don't have family out here for support and help. And he made me move from where I had,
Support.
so much support.
Probably did that deliberately.
Oh yes, oh yes.
She sounds like a big asshole or douchebag.
Yeah.
More like Jules' terminology.
Well, he's a narcissist. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's never been formally diagnosed. We should make that disclaimer.
Right.
But I studied sociology for a little bit when I was going to college before I dropped out.
Why'd you drop out?
Financial issues. I couldn't afford it anymore.
Don't you have student loans?
I wanted to change my major because I ended up hating sociology, and FAFSA was like,
You should go back to college.
Yeah. And get away from liberal arts. You don't get.
I
You
wouldn't
should go
study
to a
liberal
trade
arts.
school. Seriously.
I'm actually thinking about becoming a stewardess.
Go back to college.
There you go. Stewardess, that's cool.
She wants to travel.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you'd like to say, Ms. McArthur?
I do want to correct something that I said earlier. I didn't get to go into the full extent of how he was stalking me.
Okay.
I used to work at like a warehouse grocery store type thing.
Like a Sam's Club?
At Sam's Club, yes. I didn't know if I was allowed to say that or not. I don't know.
It's a free country.
That's true. I used to work at Sam's Club, and he would come in from time to time. There was one time I got off work at about 6, and I had to go pick up a few things like Clorox, milk, I don't know, before I was getting picked up from work. And I saw him and his wife out of the corner of my eye. Granted, I knew that store like the back of my hand, so I could be all around the store, and it's a big store, within a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Easy. And every corner that I turned, I thought I saw him and his wife, and I was like, no, there's no way, there's no way. Yeah, then I get to self-checkout, and I check out, and then there he is. And I was like, oh my gosh, he came to my work, and he was following me around my work.
What is up with this guy?
He's insane.
We're serious.
So I just wanted to make that clear for anyone's like, oh, well, how was he stalking her just by looking at a kitten's Instagram page? No, there's more than just the
Right.
Instagram.
Yeah, there's
He
a lot.
came to my place of work. Yes.
Have you filed a TPO against him?
I was told that there's nothing that I could do because it was in a public setting.
No. You know something? You guys need to have a big paper trail every time this guy messes with you, just to keep paper trail going, because it's best to have a paper trail. That way they won't say, well, you're making something up on the cuff. And they'll be like,
Right.
no, here, I got a whole history.
Right.
So you should have filed a police report for stalking you and harassing you.
Perhaps I should have.
It was during COVID though, and it was very hard to get through the police, and we did go down to the
And
You could do one online.
and I asked-
You could do it on, if you call it 311, they could take a police
I
report over the phone.
I didn't know that. I did ask someone who I knew who was a police officer, hey, can I go after him for this? And that person told me no. So I was like, well,
You should have asked me, I would have told you, Jesse.
I should have asked you. You're right.
So Would you like to look into the camera and tell folks about this corrupt court system and what you probably would want to do different or what should take place?
I believe that there should be court reform. I believe that that there should be every person, no matter who they are and whatever walk of life they come into that courtroom, that they should be represented fairly, and that judges should make the best decision for the child. We're always hearing that it's in the best interest of the child, but it really is not in the best interest of the children. They line their pockets. That's the bottom line. And they do favors for each other. And they don't go, they're friends outside of the courtroom, so they don't go after each other. This is serious. These are people's lives. These are children we're talking about that they're messing with. And it's not okay because this is our next generation. And these kids are going to have a lot of problems because of this. And there's more people than you know that are going through this. And this is not justice. This is not what the Constitution, what's in there. It's not.
Jules?
That's it. Like, basically what she said, yeah, this is not justice, and these kids are going to grow up with a lot of trauma and a lot of not understanding why things happen the way they happen. Like, my brother quite literally ripped out of my mom's arms for 17 days. That's heartbreaking, completely heartbreaking. He used to be such a mama's boy when he was younger. And for Seth to be doing this to him is terrible.
I'd like to thank you, Cassandra Gutierrez, got it right, for coming on the program. Very, very brave of you to come on and talk about this personal stuff that's taking place in family court. And you too, Ms. Jules McArthur, for coming on as well and supporting Mom. And letting people know on a child's perspective, because we don't get much of the child's perspective, although she's not a child, but she's her child perspective.
And I know what it's like to be a child in his house. He was my stepdad forever, for 6 years.
Yeah, you should have said, Mom, what the hell are you doing?
I should have. Yeah. I should have. But I was 8 and I didn't know I was allowed to.
You could have called me. I would have told you.
That's true.
Folks, that was Cassandra Gutierrez. Thank you for coming on the program. And Jules McArthur, thank you for coming on the program as well. And they're talking about the corruption in family court. And folks, we need to pay attention to this. Veterans in Politics has been exposing the family court for such a very long time, and constantly since 2016. And this family court is, in my opinion, I think it needs to be imploded and revamped. That means tear it down and build it back up again, because what we have is total destruction of narcissistic judges and attorneys that appear before them, on their own cases. Hence, a public defender who is using taxpayers' time to come into court just to trample his ex-wife because of whatever, because he's jealous of her, because he's revengeful against her, because he has a bone to pick with her. And then he's bringing his 2 kids and trampling them as well, and his stepdaughter. So we really need to pay attention to this family court. And what judge could tell anybody where they should move? Cheryl Moss, you can't tell her where she should move and then extort her and tell her if she doesn't move, she has a chance of losing her kids. What kind of bullshit is that? Does anybody tell you where to live, Cheryl Moss? Where do you live? All right, and Cheryl Moss don't have her own kids, by the way.
I know.
She doesn't, so she doesn't have the empathy and the compassion that a normal mother would.
Exactly.
And what did this mother do to have this type of accusation, to have her kids taken away from her? She's not an alcoholic. She's not a drug user. She doesn't have any mental illness.
No.
She doesn't beat her kids.
No.
CPS involved?
No.
CPS is not involved. Oh, that's a relief. What does she do? I mean, you got people fighting for their kids. I love their kids. I want to nurture their kids. I want to be a part of their kids. And you guys tearing them away. Why? And then you say, in another respect, I remember this because they say, why does all the black men always leaving their kids and run away from their kids? And then when the black men fight for their kids, you tear the black men away from their kid too. So I don't understand that either. You talk about fathers run away from their kids and they want to be a part of their kids, and mothers run away from their kids and they want to be a part of their kids. I've seen more drug addicted people get control of their kids than ones that don't have a drug problem. I don't understand this system. Cheryl Moss, please explain it to me. What are you doing to this mother? This is Steve Sanson, Jim Jonas. Until next time.